People love to say 50 Cent's one of the smartest players in the rap game, and Wack100 found that out the hard way. Tony Yayo didn't sugarcoat it either. G-Unit never had to check in with anybody. Period. He called them a straight-up militant squad, always ready to roll, no matter what city they landed in. And when it comes to 50, he made it crystal clear how he thinks. I come from a place where you have to be ready. Don't get ready, you gotta be ready.
You got the drop on 50 Cent one time?
We thought we did until we got in there. Mike called us, told he was up there. I got up there. We got up there, we came in and strapped to they thigh, bullies on them, semis on them, magazine cartridges. I said, yeah, he ain't slipping.
Today's not the day.
Nah. 50 moved different. He moved different.
And did 50
I'm glad
see
that
you?
didn't happen. Though. He see me. But he didn't know that's what we was on. We never approached him. I'm glad it never happened.
That wasn't just a catchy line, it was real talk. So when Wack100 tried to put pressure on 50 and strong-arm him, he had no idea what kind of storm he was walking into. Here's what went down. Wack100 was doing his usual loud talk on Clubhouse, and out of nowhere, he starts spinning this wild tale about 50 Cent. He took it back to when 50 was still beefing with The Game, who used to ride with G-Unit. Since Wack was managing Game back then, he tried to play tough guy and step in like he was calling shots. According to Wack, he thought he could just roll up on 50, at his hotel room no less. He said someone tipped him off that 50 was chilling at the SLS hotel in LA, hanging at the bar. So Wack shows up, rolling 10 deep, thinking he was about to make a bold power play.
Taught us that, not trying to throw shots at him. Sure. But you could not do nothing to him.
But the second they stepped in, the energy was ice cold. That's when Wack says it hit him. 50 wasn't alone, not even close. He was surrounded by a crew that looked like they were fresh out of military training, like 8 straight-up assassins, not even flinching. I'll never forget the move that dude 50 pulled, a move on us. So gangster, Wack said. And honestly, he sounded shook just talking about it. Bottom line, 50 was already 10 steps ahead, and Wack walked right into a trap without even realizing it. Wack said those dudes around 50 weren't your regular bodyguards. They moved like a tight military squad, armed, locked in, and scanning every corner like they were expecting something to go down any second.
You got the drop on 50 Cent one time?
We thought we did.
Right.
We thought we did. Until we got in there.
That's when reality hit him. 50 wasn't caught off guard at all. In fact, it started to seem like 50 planned the whole thing, just to flex and let folks know who really runs the show. Now here's where things get shady. A lot of people saw Wack's little hotel stunt as more than just a pull-up. They saw it as a straight-up attempt to extort 50, especially since 50 never checked in when he touched down in LA and Wack. He's always pushing that checking in talk like it's standard protocol. He tries to keep it casual, saying stuff like, it's just about letting people know you're in town, acting like it's no big deal. He even claims he checks in when he travels.
Mike called us, told he was up there. I got up there. He came in.
How deep were you?
About 15.
15 people.
Yeah, we wasn't that deep.
Might be down there Friday, he'll say like it's nothing. But anyone who knows the street game knows exactly what that means. See, in the rap world, especially in cities with deep gang roots, checking in ain't just a friendly text. It means reaching out to the power players in the area, making sure they approve of you moving around their turf. And let's be real, it's rarely free. Sometimes it's cash. Sometimes it's a verse for a local rapper. Sometimes it's favors behind the scenes. Whatever the street kings ask for, that's the price. Some people try to call it respect, like, yo, I'm in your city, nothing but love. But if it's all about love, then why do the threats come flying when someone skips the check-in? In LA, some artists play the game, linking up with gangs for protection like it's street insurance. But not everybody moves like that. And 50 Cent? He's made it loud and clear. He don't answer to no street politics. But here's the kicker. Wack100 wasn't the only one who tried to press 50. Suge Knight came for him too. Yeah, that's Suge Knight. The drama goes way back, before 50 even became a star. It all kicked off when Dr. Dre broke away from death row to build his own empire. Suge took that as betrayal. Then Dre brought Eminem into the picture, and when M brought 50 in under Aftermath, that was like lighting a fuse. Suge had major beef with Dre for years, and once 50 and M linked up tight with Dre, they caught that smoke too. Suge wasn't about to let the past slide. He kept that grudge alive, always lurking in the background, always ready to shake things up. One of the wildest moments? The Inda Club video shoot. Everything was cool. Cameras rolling, energy right, until someone shouted, "Suge Knight is here!" Boom. That one line flipped the whole set upside down. And Suge didn't just stroll in solo, he came deep. Around 30 heads with him, and word is a bunch of them were tied to a known Mexican gang. It was pure intimidation. Classic Suge move. He didn't need to say a thing. Just showing up like that was a threat by itself.
We got up there, we came in, and shit. You had Navy SEALs with him. 2 in all directions. Probably about 6 of them.
People scrambled. 50 and his crew stepped outside, ready for whatever might go down. Suge was known for that power play, pulling up out of nowhere, turning heads, sending silent warnings just by being there. But the drama didn't stop there. Things hit a boiling point at the 2004 Vibe Awards. That night was supposed to be about celebrating hip-hop legends. Dr. Dre was set to get a Lifetime Achievement Award. Snoop Dogg and Quincy Jones were even presenting it. Everything was lined up for a huge, history-making night.
Respect to Eminem, 50, and that was with us. So Suge came, he had some Mexican niggas. Now, we from New York. You ain't never seen a nigga with a tattoo on his forehead. Lights the cigar, and it's the shit about Suge. He light the cigar, and he trying to see what you gonna do.
Then, bam! Out of nowhere, this dude named Jimmy James Johnson walks up to Dr. Dre like he's about to ask for an autograph, but instead he straight sucker punches him, right there in front of everybody on stage. Within seconds, the whole place went crazy. Screams everywhere, chairs flying, guests stampeding for the exits like it was a riot. Smack in the middle of all that chaos, young Buck. Word is, Buck pulled a blade and started swinging. Later on, it came out. He stabbed Johnson, supposedly trying to protect Dre from getting jumped. And Buck wasn't the only one who got involved. Johnson got rushed by a whole crowd before things finally settled down. The scene turned into a full-blown legal nightmare. Arrest warrants flying left and right, and Buck got hit with charges for the stabbing. So was Suge Knight behind all that madness? No one can say for sure, but the streets had their suspicions. Tony Yayo even said that shortly after everything popped off, he spotted Suge Knight and Irv Gotti just chilling, walking past the G-Unit trailer like nothing even happened, like they were enjoying the show. That alone had people raising eyebrows. Suge and Irv casually strolling through the chaos? That wasn't just coincidence. It looked like they knew something was about to go down. And 50? He wasn't about to get blindsided. The moment he felt that tension in the air, he made a serious call. He told his crew to hit the stores and grab some knives. Yeah, that's how deep it got. The vibe was off and 50 could feel it. He wasn't taking any chances, and clearly he was right to trust his gut. After the dust settled, Tony Yayo got hit with 3 years of probation and had to knock out 80 hours of community service for his role in the chaos. That whole situation was a loud wake-up call. 50 Cent doesn't play when it comes to protection or staying steps ahead of the drama. He's never been the type to just roll with flashy security guards. Nah, 50 keeps real ones around him. Folks with street smarts, loyalty, and zero hesitation to move if things go sideways.
You could see a shiny knife in his right hand. He lunges over the top with a stabbing motion. Police say that is 23-year-old young Buck, who then vanished.
And one name that always rang bells? Monster. If you know, you know. Monster wasn't just some big dude hanging in the background. He was 50's enforcer, his muscle, his protector, the quiet force always lurking nearby. Wherever 50 went, Monster wasn't far, always watching, always clocking the scene. Quiet like a shadow, but don't push him. He was all action when needed. He was the type of guy who didn't need to flex or talk big. Just being in the room shifted the energy. No interviews, no attention, just silent moves. That's why there ain't much out there about him. But if you've ever seen any of 50's old club appearances or behind-the-scenes clips, you've definitely spotted Monster hovering in the background. There's even a clip from the airport, paparazzi flashing lights in 50's face, and there's Monster blocking cameras, keeping the space tight like a pro. Whenever 50 stepped into the club or rocked the stage, Monster was on point, posted up, eyes scanning the whole room, making sure nobody got slick. One especially tense moment, when 50 had that friction with Trav on stage, Monster was locked in, ready to react without a word. Dude moved like a soldier on standby. For years, Monster was like 50's walking shield, always there, never slipping. And get this, there were even rumors that 50 allegedly had a video removed from the popular YouTube channel Info Minds because it showed something Monster reportedly did on 50's behalf. Whatever that clip had on it, 50 clearly didn't want the world seeing it.
I wouldn't say we were scared, but it was the Vibe Awards when we seen Suge Knight and Irv Gotti, and they walked past the trailer.
Infominds made their name dropping deep dive street docs, and one video hit a nerve. They supposedly exposed how 50's real security operated, shining a bright light on Monster's behind-the-scenes role as his personal enforcer. And they didn't just skim the surface, they went in.
50 just look at James Cruz, so he just taps James Cruz and say, yo, go buy 20 knives. Yeah, just go to the hardware store. It was about 20 to 15 of us, something like that. And Suge Knight got like some crazy looking, Compton looking dudes with him, you know what I'm saying?
They didn't just talk about Monster either. They showed actual photos of him posted up with 50 in all kinds of situations, breaking it all down. According to the video, Monster was the one really keeping everything locked down behind the scenes. But here's the part that really turned heads. The video allegedly exposed a crime 50 Cent was tied to. Yeah, according to the claims, it laid out the whole drama between 50 and Slowbucks at Hot 97's Summer Jam back in 2014. That was the same event where Slowbucks got rocked and had his chain snatched, on stage, in front of everybody. Infominds reportedly broke it all down step by step, pointing out where everyone was and how it all played out. They didn't hold back, not one bit. And 50, he wasn't having it. Word is 50 Cent personally reached out to Infominds and told them to take the video down. Not long after that, poof, it disappeared from the channel. And that move got people talking, like, if there was nothing shady, why go out of your way to bury the footage? Monster's loyalty to 50 came with a serious price. Being the boss's protector wasn't just about looking mean in a hoodie. It meant getting into real situations, sometimes violent, sometimes messy, and catching real heat for it. Monster ended up facing legit legal trouble just for doing what he felt was protecting the team. He picked up multiple assault charges over the years, mostly for putting hands on people who got too close to 50. One of the most infamous moments happened back in 2010 in Copenhagen, Denmark. Monster was hit with assault charges after allegedly going after two photographers outside the fancy Hotel St. Petri.
Monster like this, the smallest, biggest security I ever know. Like his presence is big as fuck.
The New York Daily News even ran the story. One of the photographers, Nicolo Ira, told Radar Online that things turned ugly fast. He claimed one of 50's bodyguards came out and told them to bounce. Next thing he knew, he grabs my throat and tried to strangle me. He cut off my airway and I couldn't breathe. He took my camera and deleted photos.
What up, 50?
Yo, what up, 50? What up, man? How are you? So, 50, real quick.
Monster wasn't just standing in the background. He was making sure nobody touched 50, even if it meant crossing lines that landed him in court. That incident made international headlines and showed just how far Monster was willing to go to keep 50 Cent protected. Whether it was a real threat or just camera flashes popping off too wild, Monster didn't take chances. He moved like every second could be life or death. RA said the whole thing shook him up so bad, he went straight to the hospital afterward to get checked out.
Hold on. Y'all better stop this.
And he wasn't bluffing. He made it known he was going straight to the cops to file a full report and get the paperwork done. He wasn't about to let that moment slide under the radar. But it makes people ask, why does 50 keep that kind of heavy security around him at all times? Some folks like to poke fun, saying he rolls deep like a president, even accusing him of hiring off-duty cops. They try to call it soft. But others, they see it as pure survival. When you've lived through what 50 has, you don't play around with safety. Let's not forget, this man got shot 9 times. That kind of trauma doesn't just fade. One name always tied to that dark chapter, Supreme McGriff. Go back to the 1980s, and Supreme was running things heavy in Queens. He founded the notorious Supreme Team, a gang that had Jamaica, Queens on full lockdown.
Hey, this is 50 though.
They weren't just hustlers, they were an empire. The Baisley Park houses, where Premier came up, became a major hub. His crew, hundreds deep. And the numbers were wild. Word is, they were pulling in around $200,000 a day from the crack game. Total control. But it all started crashing down in 1987 when McGriff got slapped with a 12-year prison sentence. He came out in '94 on parole, but didn't stay free for long. By the end of that year, he was already back behind bars. It wasn't until 1997 that he finally caught a break, got some of those charges cleared, and hit the streets again, this time trying to move into the music world. He was looking to flip the game, but his past was never far behind. That's when Supreme linked up with Ja Rule. Prem became one of their heavy street protectors, keeping the label's artists safe and making sure any threats stayed far away. At first, things between 50 and Premi were cool. Back then, 50 wasn't a major name yet. He was still on the come-up, grinding to make a name for himself. Meanwhile, Ja Rule was already making noise on the charts. So 50, hungry for attention and trying to shake the game, dropped his wild track How to Rob, where he dissed pretty much everyone in the industry. That's when the tension really started bubbling. Then came the full-on beef with Ja Rule. According to 50, the spark came after his guy Troy robbed Ja. Later on, when 50 and Ja crossed paths at a club, 50 actually tried to squash it, but Ja wasn't having it. He thought 50 was involved in the setup. Ja eventually admitted the robbery did happen, but claimed he never saw 50 with the dude who did it. "I didn't even know," Ja said, but the damage was already done. The bad blood had started to boil.
This is what Infominds did. He would show pictures of 50 Cent, different pictures of 50 Cent in regular settings, right? Until Infominds highlighted this guy that was in like every picture.
That's when Preme stepped in and told 50 to fall back and stop messing with Ja Rule. And since 50 once looked up to Prem, he respected it for a second. But 50 kept throwing shots in his music anyway. He wasn't about to stay silent just because someone told him to. Then in 1999, things took a dark turn. Both 50 and Premi lost someone close. Black Just, a mutual friend, was murdered. The streets say it started over a car deal gone bad. Rapper E-Money Bags had supposedly given Premi a deposit for a car. But when Bags asked for his money back, Preme laughed it off. Bags didn't take that lightly. One day, Bags allegedly caught Preme slipping. Preme was riding in a car with Black Just, and that's when shots rang out. Black Just got hit twice. One bullet even caught him in the thigh. But instead of rushing him straight to the nearby hospital, Preme drove back to the hood and asked someone else to take Just in. That delay? It ended up costing Just his life. From that moment on, E-Money Bags made some serious enemies in the streets. The situation wasn't just messy, it was deadly. Meanwhile, the beef between 50 Cent and J. Rule was still burning hot. Preme stayed loyal to Ja, constantly trying to convince 50 to fall back and let the drama go. But 50 wasn't hearing it. He didn't like how Prem kept backing Ja, especially when 50 felt like he was the one being disrespected from the jump. And let's be real, Prem never saw 50 as the next big thing. He already had Ja Rule bringing in serious money, so switching sides, that wasn't on his radar. Then things got disrespectful on a whole new level. 50 and Ja ended up performing at the same club one night, and all hell broke loose. A full-on fight exploded, and by the end of it, 50 walked away holding Ja Rule's chain. Yep, he snatched it and later flexed it in his Life's on the Line video like it was a trophy.
Serious video that vanished from Infominds channel was about none other 50 Cent.
That move embarrassed Ja bad in front of the whole industry. Of course, Ja went running to Premi, hoping he could get the chain back. But Preme, he was over it. This was the second time he had to step in and clean up Ja's mess, and now 50 was clowning Ja's image in public. Preme was fed up with playing middleman. Meanwhile, 50 had no plans to stop. He was fully locked in on crushing Murder Inc., and his connection with Preme started falling apart fast. Tony Yayo even told a story about one of their final run-ins, where 50 and Preme came face to face and 50 didn't flinch. No fear, no backpedaling, just straight tension in the air. And then 50 turned the heat up even more. He started kicking it with some heavy names: E-Money Bags, Big Nose Troy, and Green-Eyed Born, all guys who had real beef with Premi. Just being seen with them was a bold move, and it made everything 10 times more intense. 50 wasn't just beefing with Ja anymore, he was taking on the whole foundation behind Murder Inc. And then 50 dropped the track that lit the streets on fire, Ghetto Quran. That song tied him directly to the street legends of New York, and the name that stood out most, Supreme. And once Premi heard it, he was not happy. According to 50, other rappers had mentioned Supreme before, even talked about his history, and Premi was cool with it. He liked the attention. But when 50 dropped names on that record, the vibe shifted hard. Premi didn't see it as love. He saw it as exposure, and it pushed an already fragile relationship right over the edge. To some folks in the streets, Ghetto Quran was more like a tribute, a way of showing respect and documenting the real players in the game. But Premi didn't care about that. He felt like 50 crossed the line, like he was saying too much, and he wasn't about to let that slide. Not long after the song dropped, someone tried to take Supreme out at a gas station. He survived, but he came out of that situation looking for revenge. Word started circulating that Premi believed 50 had something to do with the attempt on his life, and that's when things got deadly serious. Premi allegedly made a move. He brought in Daryl Homo Baum, a street heavy who used to be Mike Tyson's personal bodyguard. The story goes, Premi dropped big money on the table and told Homo to handle it. The target, 50 Cent.
Remember that shit that happened to Slow Bucks on that stage? Infomind's documentary had footage from that Slow Buck situation. He was highlighting niggas and shit.
Then came May 24th, 2000, the day that changed everything. 50 had just left his grandmother's house. His young son was still inside, and his grandma was outside on the front steps. As he got into the back of a car, another vehicle pulled up out of nowhere. A man stepped out, walked right up to the window, and let off 9 shots from a 9mm. 9 bullets, just like that. No warning, no talking, just cold steel and silence. It was a hit meant to end it all. But somehow, 50 survived the unthinkable. 50 got hit everywhere. The hand, arm, hip, both legs, chest, and even took one to the left cheek. One bullet missed a major artery by just inches. If it had landed any higher, he would have been gone for good. But somehow, he made it out alive. After 3 brutal weeks in the hospital and multiple surgeries, 50 survived. That moment turned into one of the most legendary survival stories in hip-hop. Fast forward 3 years, and 50 dropped Many Men, a track that shook the game. In it, he revealed that Homo was the shooter. But by then, Homo was already gone, not by 50's hand, but reportedly taken out in some unrelated street retaliation. The streets were cold, and karma was moving fast. While 50 dodged death, some of his enemies didn't. In July 2001, E-Money Bags was found dead in his Lincoln Navigator. Another name crossed off the board. Some said it was payback for Black Just's death. Others believed it had ties to an alleged robbery involving Irv Gotti and Ja Rule. Either way, the streets were talking. Then came Big Nose Troy, another heavy in the scene. Just 3 months after Bags, Troy was gunned down too. Back-to-back losses had the city on edge, and the body count was getting too high to ignore.
50 up there. Cream, dude, you know the old school shit. You know what 50 did? Yeah, my nigga.
Do it back, yeah.
Yeah, my nigga.
That's,
you know what the block did?
Yeah, that's what
By 2002, the cops had seen enough. They swooped in and arrested Kenneth Supreme McGriff on multiple murder charges. During the investigation, Premi even mentioned 50's song Ghetto Quran, saying it could be used as evidence against him. But when detectives turned to 50 and asked him to explain the lyrics, he didn't fold. He just said, just listen to the record. Meanwhile, Murder Inc. was getting hit from all angles. By 2003, Irv Gotti was under heavy investigation, and in 2005, he officially got slapped with charges for allegedly laundering money for Supreme. That case shook the whole label to its core and had folks thinking the empire was about to fall apart. But Gotti beat the case. The jury found him not guilty across the board. He walked. Supreme, though, he wasn't so lucky. The court threw the book at him. He got hit with convictions for drug trafficking, racketeering, and murder in New York federal court. And just like that, one of the most feared street bosses was gone, taken off the map for good. With witness testimony from a known hitman, plus hard-hitting text messages and video footage, prosecutors locked in the case, Supreme McGriff had paid out $50,000 to get people taken out. And when the law came crashing down, it hit like a wrecking ball. Every asset tied to McGriff and Irv Gotti got snatched. Gone. By the time it was all said and done, Premi couldn't even afford his own lawyer. He had to settle for a court-appointed one. And on April 9th, 2007, it was a wrap. He got slammed with a life sentence. Just like that, one of the most feared and respected street figures got taken out of the game forever. That hit on 50 Cent's life didn't just make headlines, it changed everything. Before the shooting, people respected his grind and bars, but after surviving 9 shots, He wasn't just an artist anymore. He became a legend, a symbol of raw survival and street toughness. That moment didn't just elevate his career, it shook the whole hip-hop world. So when folks try to clown him for rolling heavy with security, they're missing the bigger picture. It's not about being scared, it's about staying 10 steps ahead. After everything he's been through, keeping protection around him isn't weakness. It's straight-up survival instincts. 50 knows the game too well to ever slip again. If you rocked with this deep dive, you already know how wild this story really is. So make sure you drop a comment below, hit that like button, subscribe for more real stories, and send this video to someone who needs to hear it. Appreciate you watching. See you on the next one.